Hey, YouTube. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Hey, Kyle here checking in with another video. Hey, today. Hey, if y'all don't know, y'all gotta go. If y'all got a Netflix account. Um, there's a series called Monsters where they do like serial killers. Um, like they did a bunch of serial killers. They started with Jeffrey Dahmer. They did the Menendez brothers. This right here, they did Ed Gein. So I've been like just studying Ed Gein, just doing research, deep diving into it. This popped up in my recommended. This was a year ago. I think this was 3 years ago. My bad. Um, but this right here is his real life House of Horror, the Ed Gein documentary. It's a 20-minute video. Let's go and get into it.
This is the town of Plainfield, Wisconsin, home to pretty much the worst, one of the worst human beings to ever walk the earth. You know, I feel like a lot of people who love horror movies might not even realize that movies like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Silence of the Lambs and Psycho, you know, those movies are based off of a real person.
So that's very true. In the documentary, well, the Netflix series, they talk a lot about Psycho and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If y'all don't know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is also based on true events. I guess the serial killer in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of took depictions from Ed Gein, like took little things from Ed Gein. So yeah, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre is also based on like real events.
Someone who really existed and really did that kind of stuff. And this is the town where he lived. Ed Gein was apprehended on November 16th, 1957. And what they found in his House of Horrors will haunt people until the end of time. Graveyard robbing and murder. But I'm going to take you around. I'm going to show you cemeteries that he robbed. I'm going to take you to the jail that they brought him to after they arrested him. His property, where they found all the horrible stuff, the bodies and the heads and the collections of body parts. Unbelievable, but this is it. Plainfield, Wisconsin. Ed Gein.
There was 4 beds in the drunk tank, and that was technically the room they kept Ed in.
So this right here is the jail that he was at.
So he wasn't with the regular public.
They said this is now a museum.
But this is the room we have him in now. And that's a life-size poster of him. His skis. There's a knife inside the gun case with his guns.
Wow. How long was Ed actually here for?
The first time he was here for 4 days and 4 nights.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought him back in ~68 for overnight for trial. That's a life-size poster.
Wow, so he's
little.
yeah, probably,
Yeah.
what, 5'6", something like that?
Oh no, it's shorter than that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, little guy.
They said Ed Gein was like a short guy. He was like 5'6". Lord, so shorter than that. Huh. Wow.
Upstairs was the rubber room in case they had an issue.
Wow.
The sheriff's wife could keep an eye on them.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also the room that they brought the upstairs prisoners in to eat.
Oh, this was him.
Yeah.
How do you spell
Yeska.
Yeska? Carl Yeska. Do you know what cell he hanged himself in?
I believe it's the one Ed is in.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There was a pipe up above for the toilet and stuff.
Oh, jeez. Do you ever get any paranormal investigators in here?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes. In fact, I've got quite a few set up for the next 3.
That's so crazy to me. Like I say all the time, man. When we do these type of videos, like these dudes be looking like normal individuals. And that's the most scariest part about it. Like, they look like normal people. Like, you'll be walking around them and you wouldn't think that they doing any of this. Like, no criminal past, no torturing, no none of that. Like, wow.
3 months.
Oh, jeez.
So it was the drunk tank, and there was 4 beds in there. Now there isn't, of course, but that's the actual room he was in.
Jeez. Man, this is beautiful.
Yeah,
What's that from?
that's from the actual train station.
Man, that's nice.
Yeah. If you ever seen the guys We Are Paranormal, they had a picture of Augusta up on the desk there, and she knocked it down. She didn't like that.
Wow.
Which is Ed's mom.
This was Augusta here?
Yes.
Whoa. I've never seen this photo of her.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 40.
Anybody that's overly religious, like, people normally play like religion into like things that can like mind tactics. Like, look at 9/11, like the Muslims. Are we doing this for? And it's like religion. Like, people play religion into like people dying over religion. Like, anybody that's too deep into religion to where like they can't look at it, they can't look at life as normal in its sense, stay away from them. Like, there's nothing wrong with being into religion or anything like that, but it's like, if you can harm somebody based upon religion, you're going against everything that you're practicing. And that's what she did to her sons.
Here's the old Gein family property. That's my understanding that the house was straight ahead, straight past this fence here, this gate. Ed was born in 1906, but not in this house. They didn't move here until 1914 when he was 8 years old and his brother was 13.
So the reason why
It was him, his brother George, and his mother and father.
So the reason why the house isn't here anymore is because it got burned down. It got burned down. That's the reason why it's not here anymore.
And back this way was a big barn and some smaller outbuildings, some of which had bodies and body parts found inside of them, as well as, of course, the house, the main house. And Ed's father died in 1940 at 66 years old of heart failure, most likely due to his heavy drinking. And you know, his mother was very religious, but in an extreme, kind of a weird way. I'm not saying religion is bad, I'm just saying she had very skewed views of women. She did not allow the boys to date in their teenage years. she really did not allow them to socialize that much at all. I mean, it really, her obsessions and her strange way of raising them really.
That's crazy. See the wood right here? That's what they used to chop. You can see it in the was it a biopic? Yeah, like a biopic. You can see in the Netflix series they used to chop this wood to like get fire for the house. Oh man.
Brought that out. I mean, he developed a very strange obsession with his mother from even a young age. In fact, there was a brush fire, and he and his brother Henry were putting that brush fire out, and his brother mysteriously died. You know, he ran into town saying that he lost his brother in the smoke, and he could not find him. The police came back, and they said, well, you know, where do you think it could be? And he ended up leading the police right to his brother, who was face down. He hadn't been burned from the fire or anything like that. In fact, I don't think his body was even close to where the brush fire was. And it was ruled as smoke inhalation. That's how he died. But many people assume that he probably killed his brother because his brother really had concerns about how their mother was and how he was with his mother. And I think that Ed just wanted to be alone with his mother. He just wanted to have his mother all to himself. Oh.
But see, and that's the thing, like looking at certain videos, of course it's all he say she say. Like nobody knows what really transpired. Like nobody knows. But from what we seen in a biopic, if the brother was talking to the lady that got divorced twice, and like he like, Ed, you gotta get away from mom. Like you have to get away, like, and find your own happiness. If the brother was gonna leave anyway, but Ed felt some type of way about it, shouldn't Ed just let the brother just leave? He didn't have to kill him if that was the cause of the brother killing him. And that's the thing, it's all he say she say, because we don't know if Ed really killed him or how the brother died. Nobody knows, but we know foul play was. We don't know. I don't want to assume. It's not my job to assume, but like, if Ed wanted the mother to herself, the brother was going to leave anyway. So you would have had the mother to yourself. And the brother could have led his own life happily with whoever he was dealing with at the time. But being in that situation where it's like super like religious based, I can see that a person wants to get away and live their own life. I don't want to be around nobody that's gonna constantly beat women that's bad over in my head, and it's like, well, I want to live my life too. I want to get married too. Yeah, you was married, the mom was married, and her relationship failed, but I want to get married and hopefully find my person. So I deserve happiness, and mom, you not giving me happiness. I mean, it's a sad story. I'll say that it's a sad story.
A little over a year later.
Have you ever wanted to see your home from space? With this free satellite Earth Maps tool, you can zoom right.
December 29th, 1945, his mother died of a stroke. And then Ed was all by himself. He was all alone. He got really into very, very macabre type of stuff. He started reading a lot of weird things, World War II information about deaths. Got into taxidermy and things like that. He just became almost obsessed with death. It was about 2 years, 18 months to 2 years, according to Ed Gein himself, after his mother's passing, that he started visiting the cemeteries. there were 3 cemeteries in the Plainfield area. You know, when he would go out to the bars or talk to people around town, he would say weird things, talk about deaths and things like that. And I think people, you know, they kind of were just like, oh, that's Eddie. You know, they knew he was weird. He was a nice guy, but they knew he was weird. And that's what it was. I mean, he was just a weird guy. I don't think anybody would ever suspect what was actually happening, where he was visiting those cemeteries and digging up bodies and bringing them home. Strange.
Yeah, anytime you got somebody
It was about 2 years later.
anytime you got somebody that's digging up bodies, like anytime you dealing in foul play like that, like you going to somebody's grave and you like dismantling it, like you messing with the grave site, you messing with the person inside that grave, you get no good karma from that. I see a lot of people, like a lot of kids do a lot of weird stuff at grave sites, as far as like taking headstones. Like you don't get no good karma for that. That's probably one of the worst karmas you can ever get. Like
Later,
like even like some weirdos that be like urinating on like grave site. Like you're dealing with bad energy.
I said that he started getting into some weird stuff, and he claims to have gone to the cemeteries about 40 times, and of those 40 times, probably 10 times actually dug up some bodies and took them back to his house.
Wow, that's crazy.
And this is where the entire Gein family is buried. You'll notice the dirt patch in the middle. That is where Ed Gein's tombstone used to be. His mother, Augusta, his father, George, and his brother, Henry. So I kind of explained how his whole family had passed away, or his brother may have been murdered by him. In any event, he was left alone by the time his mother passed away in 1945. What happened to his tombstone? I think it was stolen and ended up somewhere in like Seattle, and then it was returned years and years later, and now it's somewhere in safekeeping. Over the years before it was stolen, people would take little pieces of it. They would chip pieces of his tombstone. But
that's crazy. So y'all see how his tombstone is now, like in the biopic? It got 666 on the tombstone now. In the biopic, it had 666 on it also. That's crazy. But yeah, like I told you, you see how like they only took like everybody's tombstone was like buried right there, but they only took his tombstone. And then now like they got it back. It was in Seattle, but they got it back, and now they just got it like locked up somewhere. Like bad energy is crazy.
it's just crazy to think that his body is right there. Now it's confirmed
But another thing that's really crazy, that they take the tombstone. Do you think that they dig up his body? We know they took the tombstone, but do you think that they ever try to dig up his body? That'd be a crazy ass realization. Like I don't know. It's a little weird.
There were 9 bodies unearthed from 3 cemeteries, with the majority of them being here at the Plainfield Cemetery.
So they got him buried at the same cemetery that he was taking bodies from?
And I don't know how they identified these people. Most likely it was through him admitting and pointing out which graves he dug up. And if you haven't realized it yet, yes, some of his victims are buried in the same ground at the same cemetery as this monster.
Wow.
Harriet Sherman, who died at 70 years old, November 22nd, 1955. Elsie Sparks was the second body that Ed unearthed, and actually the first body in this particular cemetery. Mabel Everson was the fourth body to be dug up by Ed. And if you think that's messed up, that these people are buried in the same cemetery as the Gein family.
That's disgusting. It's not even just the family. I wouldn't say it's the family's aspect. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with them being buried in the same aspect as the family. It's the same aspect that they've been buried the same grounds as him. That's what I believe is messed up. Like, that man should be somewhere super far. Like, we shouldn't give him respect to where he should be around these type of individuals, even in the afterlife. Like, he doesn't deserve that.
Not gonna like this one. This is Eleanor Adams. Died in 1951. Right next to, directly in line with Ed Gein.
Who is that?
In Scott Bowser's book, he wrote, Eleanor's husband, Floyd, was present when they exhumed Eleanor's casket. When they opened the casket, Eleanor's body was missing. Ed later confessed he dug up Eleanor's body the same day she was buried. Eleanor's husband...
Bruh, that's insane. What? Bro, this nigga dug up her body the same day she was buried? And y'all put this man literally right here? Yeah, there's no way in hell that this whole town need to be like, what the fuck? Like, no, bro.
And Floyd Adams later filed a $5,000 claim against the Gein estate, claiming mental suffering. I'd say that's pretty justified. Another one pretty much right next to the Gein family is Marie Bergstrom. And I've also seen this name as Karen Bergstrom, the same dates, 1866 to 1951. So, who knows? A few hundred feet away is a woman that he killed. Now, he confessed to killing two different women, two people. But during that time period, there...
My bad. We're going to let him talk. My bad.
There was a couple other people that kind of disappeared or they were killed, and a lot of people think that he killed more than just the two, but confirmed it was these two different people. So Bernice Warden was actually the second woman that...
Shopping is hard. Make it easy with Stitch Fix. Get outfits you love without any of the hassle.
Was the lady,
First,
Bernice was the lady that worked in the... It looked like it was a jack of all trades joint. She sold guns. She sold like different fabrics and shit like that. Like,
admitted to killing. This is a little out of order, but she's right here, so I'm going to show you. But this is her plot right here, Bernice C. Warden. It's really how Ed Gein was caught. Bernice owned a hardware store in the town of Plainfield. November 16th, 1957, Bernice's son, Frank, walked into the hardware store after a morning of hunting and found a pool of blood on the floor and a .22 caliber rifle out of place on the store rack. He checked the receipt book and found a purchase of antifreeze that morning by none other than Edward Gein. Frank Worden was aware of Ed's weird mannerisms and contacted the police immediately. In actuality, Ed had walked into the store that morning, purchased that antifreeze, and then asked to see the .22 caliber rifle, and when Bernice wasn't looking, he loaded it with a bullet from his pocket and shot her in the head. The sheriff and his deputy went to the Gein farm, and it was there that they discovered Bernice's body hanging upside down from the rafters and gutted like an animal. And that afternoon, Ed was arrested at a friend's house. And it was that day, November 16th, 1957, that Ed's psychotic tendencies were exposed and people saw what was really going on in that horror house. I mean, there was just, I mean, how do I even go into this? Just body parts. Gloves made of human skin, bowls made of human skulls, collections of body parts, collections of ears and skin leggings, just very, very strange things. It almost looked like he wanted to make like a skin suit. He basically wanted to be closer to his mother, or maybe kind of feel like his mother. That's what most people think. I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist, but it's fascinating in a horrible and dark way. Once he was arrested, the house wasn't completely cleaned out, but they certainly took out and cataloged and recorded the really horrific things like the skin covered furniture and things like that. Strangely enough, he had boarded up most of the house once his mother died and just only lived in just a couple rooms. The residents of Plainfield did not like that house there. They did not like that it was becoming a bit of a tourist attraction. People were even then fascinated with this kind of stuff. And just before there was supposed to be an auction where they were going to auction off his house and his property and belongings, the house was mysteriously set ablaze and pretty much everything was lost. And that was that. So now I'm heading to where a tavern used to be that Ed Gein would frequent. So this is where Mary Hogan's Tavern was. He took a liking.
Mary Hogan was the first victim, quote unquote. Well, yeah, the first victim, but even in the movie, she was the brother was the first to marry. A tavern is basically like a bar.
To Mary Hogan because she was of German descent. She kind of was a tougher type of person, in some ways even reminding him of his mother. I think more physical than anything. I mean, she was a fun person, a tough, fun person to be around. In fact, I think they nicknamed her Bloody Mary. But one night after this tavern closed, Ed shot her in the face and then took her body and brought it back to his house. Mary Hogan's death was a mystery for a long time. It remained unsolved until that day when the police raided Ed Gein's House of Horrors, and one of the deputies actually recognized Mary's face. I guess her head was still in there in a sack or somewhere in the house. So it's unbelievable. But these are really the two murders that he admitted to, Mary Hogan and Bernice Worden. He could have killed, I mean, if you exclude his brother, which I personally believe that he killed his brother, but if you exclude his brother, he could have killed up to 6 people, but he only admitted to killing those 2. The other people were already dead.
Thanks to Restore, Primetime is back. This is my time. I didn't want to be bold.
This is another one of those cemeteries where Ed got some of his bodies and where he would visit. So this is the Spiritland Cemetery. Just there was 3 cemeteries. The third one was the Hancock Cemetery. Grace Beggs was this was the first body that he dug up not long after she died in 1947. And coincidentally, she is buried right next to the Abbott family here. This was the other person from the Spirit Land Cemetery that Gein dug up. This is Alzada B. Abbott. I was not able to find all of these bodies. There just wasn't much left. There was just bones or just, you know, skin or whatever. I don't even know how they could even identify some of these people. Those people were put into a mass grave, including Mary Hogan, the tavern owner, because there was just not, there wasn't enough to actually put into a grave. So as for Ed Gein himself, he was found
Mentally challenged.
not fit to stand trial, but he did actually, in time, he did go through the court system where he was found not guilty by reason of insanity, which you can understand why. I mean, he really still, at that time, he thought he was a good person. He died July 26th, 1984, at 77 years old of cancer, and he died at the Mendota Mental Health Institute. And in the end, he got exactly what he wanted, to be eternally with his mother, next to his mother. What a crazy story. Horrific and unimaginable, but true. All right, I'm getting out of here. I've had enough Ed Gein exposure to last a lifetime. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
Hey, she